Abundance comes from mastering your focus. Another way I could put it is this: your life starts to get good when you master where you put your attention. Your attention has extraordinary power. Wherever you put your attention, whatever you put your attention on, that will grow in your life. One author puts it like this: we all humans have a creative mechanism within us. It's a goal seeking, goal striving mechanism. It will always hit its goal. So the question becomes, right, how do we give it a goal? Our goal is whatever we place our attention on, most dominantly with the most feeling. That creative mechanism goes, well, that must be what that dude wants, so let's go. And it will always hit its goal. It's always going to bring you what you focus on, more of what you focus on, similar things to what you focus on. Another way we could put it like this: sometimes this analogy is super helpful for my clients. God is everywhere all the time, right? So you could look at it like this: all the things we want come from God. They are part of God. And God's not lacking anywhere. So essentially, we're in what I would call like a cosmic vending machine. So you're at this vending machine, and it's cosmic because it contains everything you could ever want. And you're punching in the code, you punch in your code, and it's free, by the way. You just punch in the code of what you want, it drops down. So how do we punch in our code at this cosmic vending machine? The code is what we place our attention on with feeling. So when you're staring at a certain outcome, like in your mind, that's telling the cosmic vending machine, that's what this dude wants. That's what this person wants. So give it to them. So we're at this cosmic vending machine. Whatever we place our attention on, specifically with feeling and consistently, we will get that or something similar. That's how powerful your attention is. That's how powerful your focus is. So learning to master your focus is a master key for creating what you want in your life. There are infinite possibilities, infinite potential in every moment. Why? Because as I said, God is everywhere. There's no place that God isn't. All these things come from God. And if you know me and you watch these videos, substitute whatever word you like for God. I like the word God. You can use universe, spirit, life force, creative intelligence, whatever fits for you. That force is everywhere, and all things come from that force. So we're not lacking ever. And again, we just talked about, you put your attention on something long enough, you will get that thing or something similar to it. It begs the question, and it's probably why you're watching this video, and it's why most of the people who become my clients come to me. It begs the question: why does it often feel so hard to create what we want in our lives? Why does it often feel so difficult, and why so many people work so tirelessly to create what they want and still don't get there? It really is the $1,000,000 question. And the answer is this: because we have been trained over generations and generations and generations to place our attention and our focus on what we don't want. Instead of focusing on what we do want and letting that mechanism within us that will always achieve its goal just bring it to us, we are unconsciously, and I would say innocently, it's not intentional, it's not malicious, we are unconsciously focused on what we don't want so much of the time. So what happens? We get more of what we don't want, because that force inside of the force inside us goes, well, he must want that, she must want that, they must want that. They're hyper focused on it with a lot of feeling all the time. Boom, we get it. And then we start to see these results, and we're like, but this is not what I am affirming for. This is not what I'm praying for. This is not what I'm trying to manifest or create. What the hell is going on here? Without ever realizing what's happening under the surface. All right, can we do a quick story time here? Because as I was preparing to make this video, I was thinking so much about different client successes I've seen over all these years. And every single one of them came down to exactly what we're talking about here. Someone learning to shift their focus and harness their power towards what they want. And when they did that, it became easy to create what they want. It became easy to get past or over any hurdles, any challenges, and just open that door for abundance to flow in. One of my clients came to me with I wouldn't say a struggling business, but by their standards, it was struggling. They could not get past a certain financial mark every month. They felt overworked. They felt exhausted. They felt nervous. They felt overwhelmed. All of that was leading to dread. And they were trained on what if it doesn't work next month? What if this happens? What if this employee leaves? What if this client gets upset? What if, what if, what if? So over a very short amount of time, a couple weeks, we just helped her retrain amongst other things, right? But we helped her retrain where she puts her focus. So we took it off of worst case scenarios and put it onto best case scenarios. I challenged her literally just for a few minutes a day, not long, to focus on what would it be like if what you wanted actually occurred. Just live in that for a few minutes. And what happened was, and still is, quite frankly, but what happened was as her focus changed, her results started to change. So she had a long-term monthly goal for her business. She was like, if I could hit that in like a year from now, it would blow my mind. Guess what? It happened in under 3 months. And it's now happening consistently and growing and growing and growing from there. Working less, mind you. All of it's from training her focus away from all the stuff she was afraid of to what she actually wanted. And that sent a signal to that deeper part of her that's intimately connected with God and to the source of all things to go, hey, cancel that order for all the shit we're afraid of and all the shit we've been focusing on. Bring us that. Let's go. And it's continuing to just create incredible results. Another client I was thinking of, and this was years ago. I remember the first time I talked to this person, and I was like, "So what are your goals? What do you want? Why are you here?" And he was like, a little sheepishly was like, I don't really have goals for my business. And I was like, well, I don't think that's true because I know you want to grow your business. He's like, I do, but I hate setting goals or even having a vision for what I want because I'm so scared I'm not going to get it. And I'm so terrified of the extraordinary disappointment and then shame I would feel when I don't hit it. So this guy was constantly focused on it already not working out. That's where like 90% of his focus went. And again, we worked on many things, but one of the primary things I worked on with him was just let's pull your attention back. Why are you so focused on what you don't want to happen? Why are you so focused on how you would deal with this problem that hasn't even occurred? And honestly, there's no indication it even would occur. And in shoot, I'm trying to remember the exact time frame, right? But within a couple of years, his business went from a little over 500,000 a year to a little under 2 million a year. And yes, there were different things we worked on inside himself and his systems, but the primary focus was where's his focus? Pull it back. Stop focusing on what you don't want and give some life, give some breath, give some attention to what you do want. And he, like every single one of my clients, when they started to do that, saw incredible results because that's how powerful you are. And you direct that power with where you put your attention. And let's be frank, most of us are messy with where we put our attention, where we put our focus. We are unconsciously focused so much of the time on the things we're worried about, doubtful about, fearful about, dread. We get more of that. Why do we do this to ourselves? Again, that's the $1 million question. It's the multi-million dollar question and maybe the $1 billion question for you. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do you do this to yourself? So this is really old programming, right? It's like lizard reptilian brain programming from our ancestors who were almost constantly in physical danger. You left your cave, you left wherever you lived, a saber-toothed tiger could come rip your throat out. So there's this scanning mechanism. Danger, danger, danger. Is there danger? What's going to happen if I do this? What's going to happen? And we relied on that. We required it. It's like an animal in the wild requires that instinct. However, most of us are not in that situation anymore. So it had a very core survival instinct piece of it. Now it's still being used for survival, but in a very, very sneaky way that almost none of us are aware of. When you focus on what could go wrong, that means you don't have to change or grow. When you focus on what could go wrong, you don't have to change or grow. And you might be saying, well, that doesn't sound alluring. Why would I do that? Let's be real here. Most of us want the outcome we want. We want the results, we want the success, we want the relationship. And almost all of us would prefer not to grow, do not want to have to grow or change to get there. It's like, yeah, give me that thing, but only if I can be exactly the same way that I am right now. Think the same, feel the same, act the same, behave the same. We don't want to change. Why? Because we have a subconscious that's trying its best again to keep us alive and keep us safe. It's that old programming I'm talking about. It sees any change, it sees any growth, it sees any variable as potential danger. Why? Because if you're safe right now, and I just mean in this very moment, your subconscious is like, I got this. We're good. Phew. Do not change a thing. Don't do it. And changing a thing could literally just be as simple as picking up your phone to call a person who wants to buy from you right now. Change could look like answering an email. Change could look like trying out for the soccer team. Things that we don't think maybe are that life changing. But to the subconscious, it's like, whoa. You go do that and everything might change. And I have no idea how to keep us safe if this stuff changes. So it's change averse and it will do whatever it can. This is the sneaky part. It will do whatever it can to get us not to change. And one of the sneakiest ways it gets us to do that is to focus on what we do not want. Because when we focus on what we do not want, and again, that's a generations old pattern. It did not begin with you. So it is uber familiar. It is comfort zone to the max to do that. When we focus on what we do not want, we create more results that look like what we do not want and what we're currently experiencing. More potential failure, more mistakes, more dropping the ball, more falling short, whatever it looks like in your life, the thing you're trying to break through. And although it might be emotionally uncomfortable to experience that, it's familiar. Your subconscious knows what to do with that. So it's like, cool, we're good. Let's not change a thing here. I don't really care that this dude's upset. I know we're good. I know we're safe. So you focus on what you don't want, and you receive more and more and more of what you don't want, and you don't have to change. And the subconscious is like, dope, we did our job. We're good. Focusing on what you don't want keeps your life exactly where it is. This is like survival 101 for the modern human. This is why you may be going through your life, your business, your relationships, trying so hard to make changes without seeing the change you actually want to experience. When we are doing something and it doesn't work or it's not producing the results we want, what almost always has to happen, and this is why my clients get really quick, dramatic results usually, is because most of them, most of the time, are willing to do this. They're willing to change inside themselves. That's what needs to change. Doing the inner work, doing the emotional work, doing the personal growth work. And a huge piece of that is changing your focus. But most people don't want to have to change, right? As I said probably 1,000 times already, most people don't want to change. So what we do, and what you're probably doing, is going, what can I do differently? Again, generations old pattern. Let's do whatever we can to not have to change who we're being. So we'll change what we're doing. I'll work harder. We'll try a different tactic. I'll hire another person to build my funnel. I'll hire this. It's all externalized without ever changing the thing that has to change. And all that can do, if we don't change from within, no matter how awesome the external tactics are, all it can do is produce more of the same. And it breaks my heart to see that. Like, honestly, that's why I'm making this video. It's why I love what I do. It's why I'll do it till the day I die. Because it breaks my heart to see someone have this vision, this dream for their life, their business, their relationship, and have it feel so out of reach. When honestly, the solution is very simple. Yeah, it requires work we don't want to do. It can feel difficult. It can feel painful for sure. It's very simple and it's available to you right now. That's the thing I want to impart most. Let's talk solutions. You know what the challenge is. You know what you need to do with your focus. Let's talk solutions. Let's talk simple and very effective ways that you can practice right now to get there. The first is willpower, the accurate, proper application of your willpower. Most of us were taught to use this extraordinary thing we have, this willpower, completely incorrectly. We've been taught to use it to force outcomes. We don't need to force anything. There is a perfect design for your life, God given, with outcomes beyond your imagination. Incredible, extraordinary, so beautiful, beyond what you've ever imagined for yourself. God has them like on a conveyor belt, just coming towards you as we speak. We think we have to force that. No, we need to learn to allow it, to surrender, to let go enough to open the door. One of the ways we do that is through our willpower, not forcing those outcomes, but keeping our mind and our attention focused on what we want. And specifically keeping it focused there, regardless of what the world of appearances looks like. So when you set a goal for yourself, you go, this is how I am changing. This is what I'm creating. That's it. It's done. Why? Because I've decided. We then use our willpower to stay focused on that, regardless of what is showing up. Because when we go after a big change, often what shows up first looks like the exact opposite of what we want. So it could look like failure, defeat, misfortune. And the mind is going to want to go, see, it's not working. I told you, holy shit, everything's going to fall apart. The willpower goes, no, thank you. I know what I want. Thank you, God, it's already done. And you keep seeing yourself already having it. You keep feeling yourself already living it. You live in the vision fulfilled. You live in the wish fulfilled. Your willpower is this extraordinary tool you have to keep your focus where you want it to be. Please start using it. It'll change your life. That's those stories I told about my clients. That's what they did. They used their willpower to keep their attention focused where they know they needed it to be. The second is introducing new thought patterns. Remember, you've been taught how to think for generations and generations and generations. You have these ideas, these belief systems that did not originate with you. And so many of them are about how things will not work out. Be vigilant. What if they don't work out? What if a problem happens? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's like fearing something that hasn't even happened yet. So start to introduce new patterns of thought. I know this sounds simple, guys. I know. But if you train yourself how to respond to situations and you start to think differently, this pulls your attention, it pulls your focus towards new outcomes, towards what it is you want. And that's when change happens. These things you want, they're waiting for you to choose them. And one of the ways you choose them is you create space in your mind, in your consciousness to receive them. And a mind that's consistently focused on why things aren't going to work out, what happens if they don't work out, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, there's not a lot of space in there to receive what you want. So start with this. What's the best case scenario? What's the best that can happen? What would it look like for this to work out even better than I've imagined? If you just asked yourself those questions every time you're facing uncertainty, your life would change, and it would change so fast. Another thing, of course it's happening. Of course I'm the one it's happening for. It always works out for me. It's working out for me right now. And then a little less personal, it's done. It's already done. It's complete. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know these are simple. It would be very easy to overlook them. And I promise you, if you use them, if you make these more dominant thought patterns instead of the old shit that's focused on what you don't want, it makes it so much easier to open the door and receive that abundance that's already here for you.